All right, so let's do the video that I promised where we're going to be taking a look at the Philips Warm Glow. It's LED, right? And then just the simple little incandescent 25 watt things that I have in here, and usually all four. But in here is this, and this is here. Now, let me turn this other light off, right? And it's going to be tricky yet again. Because this is a nice reflector bulb, it's kind of coming down here, so the light is actually here, and that's fine. That's just how the bulb shape is. But we can immediately see that at full strength, that has a warmer, kind of more yellowish kind of glow to it. That one's already kind of white, we can see, even if we kind of, there we go. All right? So already that's an issue. But if we start dimming it, okay, let's see. We dim it like this. We're dimming. You can especially see it right here, right? That's just still kind of whiter, and it's not supposed to be because this is a, let's see here. See, lighting facts, it's supposed to be light appearance 22 to 2700 K. Because the idea with incandescence is if you dim it, it does actually get more orangey, as we're seeing here. That's not really doing it. You can still see that's more orange. In fact, this is about at half now. That's a, what do you call it? That's a smudge on the lens. I can't do anything about it. But this is about 50% now, right? You go a little lower, right? You can see it. It's really nice and orange now. This is still sort of white. Now, it's not as bad as, I don't have any more LEDs to compare it to because I returned all of those. But if we switch this out, I mean, you can see the difference here, right? It's not totally white, but it still is, if we get rid of the contrast. Right here is what I'm seeing, basically. Let's move it around, right? It's, in terms of LEDs, it's really not that bad, but it still doesn't hold a candle, if you excuse the pun, to a simple incandescent, right? Now, the other thing is, let's go down, let's say, a little more. Okay, it's looking okay. Again, the problem is, let's go to the lowest we can. This is it, right? And you might say, well, it's pretty dim here. It's actually a little whiter. You know, it comes across as a little more whatever, but it's okay, right? It still has that LED sharpness to it. I think you can see the glistening here, right? But so this is still off now. I twisted it out. Let's put this back in, all right? Now notice, for me, it doesn't come across as that orange. It's very faint though. I think the camera's picking it up. Well, the camera's totally out of focus. Although it's a little less red and less bright. It's kind of hard to, hold on, let me twist this out for a second. Okay. That comes across as cartoonishly red. That's ridiculous. It's a very faint red. It's a very faint orange, I would say. If we contrast it, hold on, let's flip the lights on. So this is just so hard to film. Come on, focus. There we go. Okay, so that's hold on. It's a little more color, right? I mean, I think with that, there's just more color. It's impossible to get these, so these are approximations, but there is a contrast here that's nice and orange. Okay, come on now. Let's have a little more light in. Okay, it's not as bright, and that's not as colorful. Okay, so just imagine less, but the principle that is still a whiter color is still there. Okay. But let's go to the lowest setting here, right? Again, it's a lot more faint in real life, so is that. But that is basically still a lot brighter, right? So even at the brightest setting, some LEDs completely go off and they don't go at the lowest with the dimmer switch. This one still has a little bit of light, and even with one, that's a lot, right? So you also can't, even if you have a dimmer, you can't really get it lower than that. You know, it still is pretty bright. let's see if we, yeah, I mean, if we shoot it from here, that's actually pretty close to what I'm seeing. It's a little brighter than, you know, I'm seeing it as less bright than what it's coming across in the camera, right? But this is, again, it's not horrible for an LED, but again, the idea that this is a warm glow, let's put the lights on here. You know, this is sold as a warm glow, that, oh, it's, you know, the point is that, oh, look at that, the standard LED, it just kind of gets a little less bright, but, oh, the color is the same. And that's why it looks kind of dull, right, when you dim an LED. This is supposed to be warmer. And yes, compared to other LEDs, it's warmer. This is like sort of white. This is supposed to be incandescent white. Maybe, you know. And it does this, even the one on the left becomes a little bit more warmer, but it does not compare at all to how orange this becomes. And again, the camera's picking it up as more orange because it's letting in more light, you know. But the point is, that's not anywhere near in real life the color of that. So it isn't like an incandescent. You know, it doesn't come close to it. Anyways, so that was me explaining colors in a video because, you know, it's kind of hard to do that. But yeah, that's basically it. I guess you have to rely on the few incandescents you're allowed to buy, you know, these 25 or 40 watt ones, because again, there's just no LED that dims well, that comes across as well. And that's fine. That's just what it is. I actually use the Philips warm glow thing in the kitchen. There's a can light that comes down, and it's actually pretty decent, you know, up high. I don't have a dimmer on that. It's just perfect for right over the sink, you know. So, you know, if you can plug it in, it works just well. Works well. But in terms of the fine lighting you would need in a bathroom, where I like to dim it at night, or if I'm taking a shower or something, I don't need the massive blast of light. It's just going to have to be incandescents, you know, the few that they still sell, 40 watt and below, which is fine because you got 4 here, you got 1 there. Okay. But you would have thought that after all the time and energy that goes into promoting LEDs, they could figure out one that works as well as a measly, crappy incandescent. Something like this. This is like, what, like 150 years old now? Something like that, close to it. You'd think they could improve on this, or at least match it to some degree. No, they can't. So anyways, that's it for now, and this much-awaited Philips Warm Glow video is finally done.